It's like a pretty rare one. And pinball machines right now are insane. I don't know if anybody else. I feel like a lot of haunters actually are pinball players.
Yeah.
I love it. I just don't have one.
Okay, there we go. Are we good?
It's expensive
All right.
now. We're good.
See, and we got it.
We got it.
Is it good?
It's good.
All right, sorry guys.
All right.
My fault.
You know what? We're gonna blame it on Phil for not showing up today.
Yes.
On this
Choo choo.
in this episode of Haunters
The
Hangout,
whippersnapper.
and we have an exciting show for you guys. It's gonna be amazing. We have some epic home haunters, man. I mean, just looking at their stuff is amazing. And if you go back in the original post and look at all their YouTube channels, you will be amazed, and you'll be amazed at all the pictures we show tonight. And right now, we're gonna thank Mike Ross for showing up today to help us out since Phil bailed on us. And I want you to introduce yourself, Mike. Tell us what you do and your little chat that you got running.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my little chat. Mike Ross, Reverend Michael, aka the Gravedigger. We own Sinister Sydney in Sydney, Iowa, and we do a little talk show called Haunt Chat Live that's on once a month. It's just kind of an interview show, and that's about it. And I love Hunters Hangout.
There you go. And
We're
that's
so
awesome.
glad you could be with us tonight.
Right, and we appreciate you coming and helping us out at the last minute. Thank God.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Anytime.
All right, and we're gonna hand it over to Pandora, and she's gonna tell you what you need to do to win a prize with all our amazing sponsors. And go ahead and let us know what you need to do to win the prizes as well.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging in there with us. We've had a few technical issues this evening. Jose, go full screen. And thank you again to our sponsors so much for all that you do for us. Please make sure that you visit them for all your haunt needs. To win tonight's prizes, all you need to do is to ask questions in the chat of our guests as we go through and show their photos and their haunts. If your name is called at the end of the show and you have won a prize, please contact Diablo no later than Saturday night to claim your prize. You don't need to tell him what you've won. He already knows that. Just please make sure you message him with your address, etc., so that he knows how to get you your prizes. And with that, for tonight, we have from Toxic Effects, a baby boo. This is highly sought after, folks. This is a big one. From Horror Ornaments, we have Creepy Doll Head. From Scarlet Badges, we have 10 assorted badges. From 916 Productions, we have $25 off. From the Halloween Shirt Company, we have a free shirt. From Froggy's Fog, we have a gallon of bog fog. From Ned's LEDs, we have a 5-pack sample kit. From Drop Dead Design Studios, we have 25% off. From Nightmare Makers, we have 2 unfinished skulls. From Sam Haynes, we have a free download. From Atmos Effects, we have a free download. From Fright Props, we have $25 off. From Rotten Prop Works, we have a set of zombie arms. From Monsters Alive, we have $25 off. From Cobwebs and Candlesticks, we have a grab bag surprise. And with that, thank you so much to all of our viewers tonight for hanging in there with us. Yeah.
That's my kid.
And we would now very much like to introduce our amazing group of epic home haunters. Jose, would you like to take that away?
It's gonna be a great show, you guys, and we're gonna start off with Diane and Preston. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your haunt, how you got started, what's your inspirations? Just give us a little lowdown on it.
Hey guys, how's you doing? We're Diane and Preston. We're 9 Rotten Apple 907 out here in sunny Burbank.
At least for today.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain this weekend, but yeah, it happens occasionally in California.
Every once
So this is going to be our 31st year of walkthrough haunts.
Oh,
Wow.
wow! I mean, that's a clap right there.
We did yard haunts for quite a while.
Yard displays.
And yard displays. And we did it in the house for a while and had people come in and walk through and walk back out. We actually have screws in our ceiling where we hung curtains dividing the living room in half. So you come in one half and then go out the other half. And we stopped doing that, but we never got around to taking the screws out.
Just in case.
We
just in case.
started this because my daughter's birthday is October 26th, and she automatically loved Halloween. And she wanted a coffin bed and the whole routine when she was a kid. And Mother drew the line at the coffin bed and stuff. So she wanted to always have birthday parties. And, of course, they always had to be Halloween themed. And so one year we decided that we would make the kids, she'd always have a party, so we would make the kids go through a little haunted house inside the house before they got to the back half to go to the party. And so then one year it actually fell on Halloween, so the trick-or-treaters wanted to come in and go through it. And so that's how the whole thing started.
I love it. That is so fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. And for those of you that didn't catch it, their haunt is called Rotten Apple 907. You can find them in the post from this week, previewing the show that was coming up. We'd love to. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, we're gonna move over to Steve. Why don't you let us know what's going on?
What's up, everybody? I'm Steve Cotroneo, and my wife Nicole, unfortunately, isn't here with us right now. She's in the other room, not feeling well. But together we do Grimwood Hollow, which is a yard haunt, also in Burbank, California, not too far from Diane and Preston. I've been doing haunts ever since I was 8 years old. I started doing little small yard displays. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, was heavily influenced by horror movies and sci-fi movies and Ray Harryhausen's special effects, and just loved Halloween and horror movies. And so, yeah, when I was 8 years old, I started doing little yard haunts, yard displays. Eventually, they got more elaborate. When I was 15 years old, I actually started working in the movie industry. And that's when it really took off, because I started learning all the tricks and techniques and the special effects, and I was able to start applying that to my yard. So then I started doing more and more elaborate yard haunts. Eventually did a professional haunt in the early 2000s called the Haunted Vineyard. I continued to work doing special effects, eventually ended up in the theme park industry working for Walt Disney Imagineering. There's some of the statues I recently sculpted, and some of the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean, Galaxy's Edge creature there, the Cars Land rock work that I sculpted and designed. And then here's some of my movie work that I've done. I worked on the creature crew for The Sandlot, doing the Beast creature. This was the very first movie I ever worked on, Phantasm 2, where I helped create all the flying spheres.
That was like one of my favorite movies growing up. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so surreal. So yeah, I got to create all those flying spheres with my boss. It was nuts. And anyway, that was my intro into the entertainment industry, and I've been in the industry now for 35 years doing special effects for movies, and 25 years as an Imagineer, and still doing haunts. So a few years back, trying to remember how many years back now, but a few years back, maybe 7-8 years ago, we started doing a home haunt in Pasadena, me and my wife, and now we moved to Burbank, and we've been doing Grimwood Hollow here in Burbank for about 3 or 4 years. And that's kind of where we're at now, doing our fun Grimwood Hollow home haunt, and still working on crazy projects in the entertainment industry.
That's awesome.
We are so crazy glad to have you here with us, Steve.
Right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Glad to be here. This is fun.
I can't wait to see some pictures. All right.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to move over to Ken.
How do you follow that?
No,
With your
it's gonna-
crazy haunt.
That's right, with your crazy haunt,
Kim's like, how
sir.
you follow that?
Well, and my partner in crime is Lilia, and I'm not worthy to be on this show at the moment. No, amazing. That looks
Completely untrue, and you know it, sir. You
Yeah,
are
right.
just as epic as the rest of them.
love what I see with everybody else's activity. We've been running Anmore Manor for it's a home haunted house for 9 years, so we're I guess 10 years coming up this one. So hopefully we do something extremely special. Yeah,
9 years.
9 years. This will be 10, won't it?
No, 9.
Oh, I'm wrong. So let's go.
Next year.
Next year. No,
Lucky number 9.
yeah.
Number 9, number 9, number 9.
All right. We're gonna move over to Sean.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Sean Herman. I run, well, me and my family. So it's my wife and 2 kids. They're 6 and 8 years old as well. They're very much integral part of the process as well. But we run a home haunt out of our 2-car garage that's about 320 square feet in total space every year, called Wicker Manor. So yeah, I mean, we started out as a yard display. And then for a couple years started out. Was that an echo? That was crazy.
Yeah,
But
a little bit
so
of
we
feedback.
started
We're
out
good.
as
Keep going.
We started out as a yard display, just like most home hunters, I feel like. And then ever since then, we've just moved it into the garage, mainly because we're in Denver, Colorado, and we were sick of snow ruining all our props. Yeah, we've been doing that ever since. Right now, we're kind of running at like a 2-year cycle based on like different theme. So our previous years have been, like a Victorian house, and then this past year, and then this current year, we've done like a Western haunted mine shaft. So, yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I looked at all your guys' stuff, man. All of it's amazing. You guys are getting ready to see firsthand all the stuff that they do. In case you guys haven't seen who they are or what they are, make sure you go to our original Facebook. On the post has all their YouTube channels and everything. It's great. So we're gonna start off back to Diane and Preston, show some pictures. They're gonna explain how they did it, and we're gonna go that route.
Real quick, if you don't mind, I'd like to interject something here real quick for all of our audience out there. We have some exciting news that I forgot to mention at the top of the show. We have just recently decided to start up a new YouTube channel specifically for Hunters Hangout replay shows. You've been asking for quite some time, so we are answering. There will finally be a way to view the replays of the shows outside of the private Facebook group, which is great for our guests who would like to share this with friends and family, and for other folks. So there will be a new YouTube channel. It is launched, and we will post that link for y'all to go and subscribe tomorrow. So thank you to our guests today for also being recorded as we speak.
Hey, hopefully it's recording.
Bring it on.
All right, Diane and Preston, let's take it away. Mike, you got the photos?
They're there.
All right.
Okay, this was
This
our
is
Western.
Yeah, this is Rotten Apple Hollow. One of the things is every year we do a different themed house. So our haunted house changes every single year. There was only one year that we repeated the same house. It was, the outside was the same. We changed up over 3/4 of it inside, but every year this is different. So this is the year we did an old mining town, and you went through the mine and you went down a shaft. You know, you had the elevator, and so you went down into the shaft and you went around. We had a lot of photos, but it's hard to choose which ones. Those rocks were all done with paper and sprayed with mortar mix.
Right.
And
How do you?
Yeah.
If you redo it every single year, what do you do with the haunt that you already had? I mean, this is pretty elaborate. What do you do with it?
some of it, like the rock walls that are sprayed on over paper, it's just trash. There's no way you can save it.
Yeah.
Other ones, we do a lot of revamping on the walls.
We tear them apart.
Yeah, and redo and reside and put new luan on and tear off old stuff. We've got a bigger than we should have storage yard where we've got stuff. And
Understood.
we keep telling ourselves we're going to get rid of the stuff, but it's kind of personal. The picture that's on there now is our not so enchanted forest. So we had the 3 pigs, and we had
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. We had
the gingerbread man.
A gingerbread man. And, of course, they're all a little bit off. Like the 3 pigs, they were dead. The wolf had taken care of the pigs. There weren't any more pigs to worry about. So,
Brandon would like to know, Preston and Diane, how long does it take to build with all that detail? I mean, how long do you spend each year for it? Because I know it's a new theme every year.
We're only allowed, because of lovely neighbors, we're only allowed to start set up in September. So September 1st, generally, the very first week of September, whatever, we have to get permission from the fire department when we can set up. And so we work all the time. The year we did the old mining town, some of the buildings we were able to do some of the fronts ahead of time, but that's not always possible. The last few years that hasn't been possible. So most of the time from September until Halloween, we are working, 12-hour days trying to get it done.
Wow. Yeah, Anna Martin would like to know how you guys do it. Do you have a lot of friends that help or workers? 30 years, she says she'd be exhausted. How are you doing this?
Well, and we're, some of our workers are, we had one kid that started out with us that he was 10, and now he's gone to college and has graduated college and gone on his own way. I mean, we lose people. We have some more friends that have helped us, and everybody keeps
rotates,
and everybody keeps asking, how long are you going to keep going? Well, as long as we have some help, that's the biggest thing at this point.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Carlos says he would be happy to work with you guys.
Oh, thank you. This is the entrance to, one year we had, where we store our stuff is in a storage yard, and
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and because that's all you can afford. And it was the one year that it was on all the news that in Acton there was a major flood, and it was a flash flood. And, there's no flood in California, so this was big news. And it went right straight through our haunt storage.
On the TV news, we see some of our props floating downstream.
Yeah. So
oh my God.
Everything was under 5 feet of water. We lost quite a bit of it. We had a horse-drawn hearse and all that. It took us a month or two to go through and dig everything out and stuff. So then we had to take everything out to get it all leveled and all that. So we sat there and talked, okay, this was like in August this happened, or July or something. And so we talked, well, do we just skip the haunt that year, or do we, do we be grown up and skip the haunt, or do we be, not grown up and just, do the haunt and screw all the stuff that needs to be dealt with? And so, of course, we chose screw what we, So this is our.
We had something else all planned, and we're going to do something entirely different.
Right.
So this year we decided.
That's called trooper. That's called trooper right there.
That's right.
That's
right. Determination.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, this
Love
is
it.
awesome.
So that year, the whole theme of the haunt was everybody's going to hell.
It was the portal to hell, because that's what we decided, that we were going to do the portal to hell. And there was nods to the flood all the way through it. You went in the witches thing, and there was witches chanting, which sent you through the portal. This was the portal. And that's just really a light and a circle and spider webbing. And it came out really good.
It's a really great photograph for sure. Yeah.
And then you went into all dark maze, and in there was hanging down a bunch of, they were flies, but they were supposed to be bees, and we had bee sound. When we went to clean out our storage stuff digging out of the flood, we found out that our walls are inhabited with killer bees.
Oh,
And
Jeez.
so, which everybody got stung, except for me. I didn't get stung. And everybody got stung trying to deal with it. So we gave our nod to the killer bees. And so then you went into hell and you had all rock and all that. But that was our portal. That was our theme for that year, the portal to hell.
Michael R. Lacey says, I will no longer complain about building over 4 months thinking it's not enough time. You are both amazing.
Thank you.
So true.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the year decided, it's called Death Triangle. So this is where everybody wants to know where everything is. Well, it's actually, we had a Kraken at the top. There's not a picture of it that time. But we had a Kraken at the top, and the Kraken is actually the one that's pulling everybody in the Bermuda Triangle, pulling them out of the sky, and this is where they all land. And so we had a partial ship, and we had an airplane on top, and it was one that we had built for Midsummer Scream, our Cowhaunts group. We had all got together and built a half of an airplane. And
Full size.
Yeah, full size, because of course Preston had to have it full size.
right.
And so we jacked it up and put it on top of the haunt that year, on top of everything else.
Dude, that's
The-
beautiful.
That's the Kraken. Okay, you go in the bow of a ship that's run aground that's split open, and we actually use steel sheets for the ship because you could rust them. You didn't have to paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
So me trying to save work.
Yes.
Well, the ship was at an angle, so you went down, and at one point you went underwater. So you came out of the ship, and you were in the bottom of the ocean, which we brought in 2 tons of sand to put in the front yard, so it would feel like, because what's at the bottom of the ocean? Sand.
Yes.
You went into another ship, and you came out of that ship, and you went into an airplane that had crashed, and okay, now you're going to leave the haunt. But you can't just walk out a door and be on the sidewalk. So you got eaten by the Kraken.
Yeah.
That's
That's
love
why
it.
the
Oh,
Kraken
that's
came out.
awesome.
Now,
And then how
Preston
do you
wants
get
to
up?
know what
Yeah.
the teeth were made from.
That is just L200, just
Rolled up in a cone.
in a cone and just glued on onto foam.
Excellent.
So how do you think you would get out of the Kraken once it ate you?
You get pooped.
Yes.
Which we had to look up. We asked Suri
Yes.
about Kraken's poop. You know?
Wow.
Because you gotta be realistic.
Thank you guys so much. We're gonna pause there and save some more photos, and we'll come back to you. Let's move on now to Steve and see some of Steve's haunt photos. You ready, Mike?
It's up.
There we go. All right. So Steve, go ahead and click on Mike so you can see the photos that are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here.
So this is from just this past Halloween season. We normally did a yard display in our front yard, and we decided to switch it up a little bit for this past Halloween season. And we wanted to create something that was a little more immersive, where we could kind of pull people more into our story. Not a full walkthrough, but kind of just a little creep-in experience is what we called it. So we had a couple different zones in our backyard this year that we themed out. And this was the cemetery area that you kind of go to first. And it's got all of our homemade props and stuff a lot of the same things you saw in our front yard. We added a few new things, but it's got our scarecrow that we made, all of our handmade tombstones. We love it. We have this very kind of earthy aesthetic. We love lots of vines and sticks and earthy looking things. And
Right there with you. The more organic, the better.
Yes, it's like use Mother Nature for theming. You can't get much better than that. So, and it really helps to kind of set dress your haunt and really bring it to life too. So that's why we love to go around and collect sticks and branches and vines, and then we make vines too, and we kind of put all of that together to create these really organic environments. On that last photo was a gag that we have called the pop box, which is
Mike, could you back it up one, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody who's here in Southern California probably knows about the SoCal Valley Haunt List that our buddy Derek puts out. And it's a really great haunt list that just has tons of home haunters listed in there in all the different zones. It's great. It goes through all the different cities and zones in our area and lists all the home haunters. So it's a really great resource for people who want to go around and check out all these really fun attractions. And almost all of them are for free. So you can really make a night out of it going around with this haunt list and seeing all these attractions. And since Derek puts these out, and there are these amazing lists, we wanted to incorporate them into a gag. So when people reach for that haunt list on those crates, we have a little pumpkin creature that pops out of the box and scares people.
So awesome. Yeah. And I highly suggest that y'all, check out everyone's YouTubes and all their links. You really got to see the pumpkin guy jumping out of that over on his YouTube. It's fantastic. And it looks like Keith did put in the Grimwood Hollow YouTube channel link in the chat. So thank you so much for that, Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
And what did you use to build the vines, Steve?
Dude,
Keith Baldwin would like.
I am so jealous because behind my house is full of vines, but I can never find a vine that looks like that.
Yeah. So
damn it.
So you have to either get really lucky and find some laying around, or you got to kind of make some yourself and fill in the blanks. So that's why we have a combination of real sticks and branches and vines. And then we made vines out of wire and melted plastic, like painter's tarps and glad bags and stuff you can wrap around the wire, melted on there with a heat gun, and then you can bend it into whatever shape. And then you can also use foam. You can use Great Stuff foam or an AB expandable foam and wipe down the whole vine with that as well. And then it expands and makes it look kind of organic and chunky. In that arch that you see on the right, a bunch of those vines are made out of AB foam and wire to create kind of those really twisty.
I feel like less of a haunter right now because I should have thought of that. Yeah. Damn it.
Bob Cole would like to know, Steve, have you been able to use any quote unquote leftovers from your movie props in your haunt?
Okay, so funny thing, in Grimwood Hollow, we don't have any of that. But when I did the Haunted Vineyard, all of our costumes were from a movie called The Ghost of Mars. We had weapons in there that I created for Stargate. A bunch of armor that was in a room that we called the Armory. Almost all the armor in there that was cladding these vampires and hanging in the room was all armor from Army of Darkness. All the armor from that movie. We also have props from Islands of Adventure, Universal's Islands of Adventure that I worked on. So the Haunted Vineyard definitely had some of those Easter eggs and props in there. But I can't think of anything in the Haunted Vineyard off the top of my head that's from any leftover movie stuff. This is all new stuff that we made from scratch just for this.
We have lots and lots of lighting questions happening right now, Steve. So first there's the candles. They're showing up really, really well. Are those battery op or are they wired? And is the rest of it LED? Yeah. Those are
battery operated. And I just want to throw this out there. Like, that is one of the things we get so many compliments on is the lighting and the colors and everything. And I got to say, that's almost all Nicole, my wife. One thing a lot of people don't know about
Nicole.
me, I'm actually 85% colorblind. I do paint. I do a lot of painting. All these props you see here, I painted. I can read the labels on paint jars and figure out how to paint things. I can see contrast, but I'm not always great with colors. And Nicole is amazing with that. And she comes in, she does all the light gels, and we really carefully pick colors for specific zones and areas so that it has this very, it tells a story, everything you put in your haunt should tell a story
looks beautiful, man.
And should do that. So that's something we work really hard on. And Nicole really does a crazy job on that, getting all those colors and everything lit up really nice.
I want to know what that pathway, what's that pathway made out of? Is that
so
This was so brilliant.
So,
I've done that too, but opposite with
with
it in the middle, and the way that you guys actually utilized it off to the side is the brilliance of it. Because I've always just kind of thrown it and done that to cover, but the way you used it to create that path is awesome. So please go ahead. Sorry, I fangirled for a second.
Thank you. It's really a pretty simple thing, but it was really effective. And I just posted a YouTube video about a week or two ago of a whole daylight behind the scenes tour where I go into that, and you can really see how that was all done. But it's really simple. This was literally just a plain concrete rectangle patio, as plain as it can be, just a rectangle. And that was just a rectangle concrete slab. But we wanted to make it really immersive. We wanted it to feel very foresty and swampy. And we didn't want you just walking on, or just looking at only concrete on the ground. We wanted it to look very earthy and organic. So what we did is we got 11 giant bags of mulch and bark.
Oh my God.
And spread that all over the entire patio, and then just left the pathway clear for people to walk on. And if you were to read our little poem that's down there in the corner where it says Grimwood Hollow, that's kind of our fun little story poem that's supposed to kind of set the mood. People read that, and it just kind of gives you a fun little introduction to what you're about to experience and kind of sets the mood. And if you read in there, there's something about only fools would ever follow the crooked path to Grimwood Hollow. That's like the last two lines. And so that's our little crooked path going through Grimwood Hollow.
I hear Vincent Price. Yeah, in the
that would be so amazing, wouldn't it have? Yeah.
I wish I was channeling Vincent Price.
So wonderful. And just so all of you know too, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick here, but there are a lot of questions tonight, and I'm most definitely not going to be able to get to all of them. So if our guests could perhaps take a little time in the next day or so to go back over some of the ones we missed and perhaps answer in the chat, we'd really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much.
Sure. That'd be awesome.
Now this scene right here, Steve, this is again another example of this fantastic lighting, and I don't know how you're getting those candles so bright. They're gorgeous. And we've had some questions about the tombstones. Have you made them from foam or wood?
Yeah, so all of our tombstones I carved out of a very special foam called Trimer foam. It's not something typically used in the haunt industry ever, but it's used all the time in the entertainment industry. We use it for sculpting 90% of the sets and characters and ride vehicles and models and everything we do at Imagineering. We'll usually use a version of Trimer foam in different densities. The thing about Trimer foam is you can sculpt amazing detail in it. And to kind of really quickly give you an example of what it's like, everybody's familiar with what's called floral foam. That green foam that they stick flower arrangements into, and you can kind of crush it with your fingers and stuff. Trimer foam is similar, but it's a much denser foam that you can get way better detail into. So anyway, you can carve this beautiful detail into it. And then normally you would want to make molds off it and then cast parts out of fiberglass or urethane, something that's really durable. This foam is not insanely durable. It's not like a bead foam, or an EPS foam, or an EXP foam or something like that you can just hard coat and it'll be durable. This is a lot more fragile if you're not careful with it. I used a chopped fiberglass. It's an acrylic polymer with a chopped fiberglass in it to coat these when I was done, and it definitely gives them a nice hard coating. But if you were really to kick these or something, you could definitely ding them and crack them. So they're not nearly as strong as the other foams, but way better sculptability and detail you can get in them.
Nice.
Excellent.
And Steve, how do you mount your headstones?
So all I did was, once I was done carving them, hard coating them, and painting them, I glued 1/2-inch plywood to the back of them with a couple brackets. And then all we do is we stick some fiberglass rods, little thin fiberglass rods that are used for holding up plants in gardens. We stick those into the ground, and then you literally just slide the tombstone with those brackets right down onto the 2 fiberglass rods, and it just holds them in place. And it's a really quick and easy way to pop them anywhere you want in the yard and take them in and out. Because when we have windstorms, we got to pull a lot of this stuff in or it would get trashed in the windstorms.
I was going to say, you don't live in Iowa.
We're pretty fortunate when it comes to weather in California, but we do get some really decent windstorms here in Burbank, in the valley, in San Fernando Valley. The wind comes ripping through here sometimes and can really do a lot of damage to the home haunters displays. I mean, a lot of our friends have suffered some serious damage from the winds. We've been pretty fortunate, but again, like I said, when we know it's coming, we scramble and pull a lot of stuff in and try to prepare for it.
Man, I got you.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Right on.
That's awesome, man. All right, let's keep the party going. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. So we're gonna move. We're gonna move over to Ken, man.
Ken. Yes. Oh, we're looking at Sean now. There we go. Yeah. Ken, this is awesome. First, you have to tell everyone that you actually take this through your house. Or I guess I just did. But wow.
Yeah. As you might see some pictures here that this is on a small square footage of a lot of our home, and we build from the ground up, and it goes through part of our house and then through our garage, and then
through right there.
Absolutely incredible.
that shows you basically what we're dealing with for square footage of the front. Off to the right of that picture, you can see that's where I built the boardwalk, and that's all the wood for the full driveway, because the full driveway goes right up to the midsection of the house there. Can
we back up one, Mike? Look at that. Thank you. There's some questions already. Brian would like to know, is the bridge made from pallets, or did you frame it out and then cover it?
Yes, the first year we did the bridge, it was made from pallets, but pallets aren't that strong. And
right.
We were concerned, as again, I'm a volunteer firefighter, so I have to go by all the codes here. So we were very concerned with the weight limits. So that is basically as strong as your deck would be. That is decking wood. You can probably get at least 500 pounds. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, that's intense. And that's the thing, when you're worried about weight limit like that, I suppose you would have to go with something other than the pallets. So you build it as if it's never coming down. That's the hard part, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That other picture like there, we tear everything down board. Nothing's left in sets, because I don't have the storage space out here to store a 8-foot by 4-foot panel. So we tear everything down, take every screw out at the end of the season.
God.
That's insane, dude.
Dude, now I'm really feeling like
that's exhausted there. I'm
like putting pumpkins out in the yard. I'm like, oh, this is so tedious.
How long does it take to set up and tear that down if you're not building a panel?
Insane.
It takes us a while. I have a friend of mine that does a lot of work with me. He's a workhorse.
Yeah. I'm curious. I've just got a strange question over here, so I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Ryan Greger wants to know if there's any lasting side effects from the electric chair.
I haven't said it.
Okay. Is this an inside joke that I need to know about?
That looks awesome, Ken. Oh my God.
Amazing. Yeah.
This here is in the garage. It's built. It's very interesting how it's built, actually. The where these corpses are, that folds up right to the wall afterwards. You can kind of see a chrome silvery piece in the back, and that's the bracket. These are all on hinges. So afterwards, when the haunt season's over, that folds right up, and then the car can park in.
It's like a Tyndall bed.
Get the hell out.
Yeah, they're like
That is
hideaway beds
awesome.
almost.
Yeah.
Wow. And I assume you sculpted all those stones as well.
Yeah, those are just styrofoam pieces. Keep adding to make it look and feel more real when you go through there. I think that's something Lily has taught me over the years is more detail, and it works.
This next picture is very disorienting to me.
Yeah,
Wow.
what's going on here? Where is this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when you go through my house, then you go onto the deck in the backyard, and the deck has a few stairs that goes into the back of the garage. And so over the years, I've always wanted this to look like a cave. And so this is all hand carved styrofoam, and then just
Dang.
yeah.
Damn it.
I love it. It's taken me 3 years to get to this, and
Wait, the bricks on the wall are hand carved styrofoam?
these were actually given to me at they're what do you call them? In panels, the ones on the left,
Okay.
the ones above you and to the right, the dark gray ones, those are hand carved.
Okay.
Wow.
That's beautiful, man.
That's
Dang.
really gorgeous.
So yeah,
Amazing.
another picture or not, actually it should be kind of the before. Yeah.
Next
So-
one goes to that.
This is where
The
people
house.
we let people come into the house, and I threw this in here because of that, because this is my house, kind of in construction, and it's like moving. So if anybody ever wants a question, just ask me. You can do this where it's safe not to damage your house inside. I believe it. I am very very clean and organized. So as you see, nothing gets screwed into the walls.
That would be the goal.
That's my partner in crime, Lilia. So as you can see, we
I see
first
rosin
thing-
paper on the floor, so you're covering
first
it,
thing
of
we-
course.
You know what, Ken?
Yeah.
This is what I've been saying all along, is that I hate haunt couples, man.
She's laughing at me.
Because
You
I'm
have to have first
I'm
thing.
jealous
you have to
as,
part-
jealous as
Yes.
hell, man. I hate haunt couples. I hate
This
them.
is-
Because they
don't
can
blame-
do... They're going through the house. You think that shit would happen here? No way.
Which would be first thing. First thing you got to do if you're gonna have it going in your house is ask your partner.
Right?
Yeah,
Maybe
So-
if
Yeah.
it was Christmas, yeah.
yeah.
You're building a room inside the room. This is
A room is-
insane.
Where you don't bolt anything to the walls, and that's the tricky part. And make sure,
Dang.
as the older you get, you don't want to move a bunch of stuff here that's heavy. So everything is made extremely light, where one person can pick up any part of this.
Wow.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Crazy.
Danny would like to know what's your favorite part of the haunt process, Ken.
Oh gosh, my art of the hunt it's creativity. You know, honestly, when you have this thought in your mind and it comes out and it becomes better than what you expected, I think that is very cool, because we all have these ideas, and then it's like, it didn't turn out exactly what I want. But some things, it's just like, wow, I can't believe I actually that turned out the way it looks. I love it. And then when people go through and they tell you like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's what do you call it? It's a euphoria in its own.
Dude.
Yeah, I agreed. And I look at this photo and I'm like, okay, we've got columns. This is outside. This is leading in. Is that correct? Front porch. So this is the other side of that boardwalk.
That's the end of the boardwalk, and that's my front door.
Okay.
Which we made these columns to make it. It's. I want people to feel they're not walking into a house.
Dude, I'm definitely gonna step it up this year.
You did that.
Dude, I'm
Keith.
totally feeling not worthy now. Just looking at the 3 people we went through, I'm like,
I feel
"Jeez,
like that. All these other
Jesus."
people in front and behind me here talking.
No, you're ridiculous, man. This is amazing. This is seriously, the theming you have in your house is better than most of the pro haunts we have everywhere here in the Southland. And I'm not even kidding. Like you are on another level here.
Hey,
I can
So awesome.
I'm amazed at the work involved in it. Dude, like
Right.
tear
I have a
down
question,
from
Ken.
scratch, all the boards, everything, bam, and then all
That-
back up. I'm amazed with that. That's awesome.
Hey, I wish I could just panel this all into like panels, and then it'd be easy to set up.
Right.
But no, it's board for board.
Oh
And
my
Ken, do you have, since you go into your house, do you have the same kind of layout and theme each year that you've been doing it, or do you pick different rooms in your house to go through?
He's like,
One thing I've learned, I'll tell you, if you go back to some of my pictures from way back, which I probably have deleted, because to me 9 years ago, everything about Halloween. So you get like whatever it is, it's like, oh, my theme, and you think, oh, I love clowns. Oh, I love like scary baby cribs and stuff. And we had a whole bunch of different stuff over the years. I'd say the last 4, we've got a theme, and now we have a story. And I don't know if it's in the video or not, but we actually have a friend of mine who's an actor. We created a backstory, and the backstory is kind of what's the book called?
Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, The Island of Dr. Moreau. If you know it.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Of course we do.
Thank you, Lilia.
The Island of Dr. Moreau was built so the story was in 1898, and it's basically, long story short, was a scientist that was making animals turn into human form. And so we've always had these rooms and science and torture rooms, and I'm like, okay, how do we make a theme where we can immerse people? And so we took Dr. Lilith, which is my partner Lilia. We used her as the scientist to date, and we went back to say, okay, the island of Dr. Moreau was in 1898, and her great-great-granddaughter, Dr. Lilith, has come back to the island, taken over his research, and that's what we have here. So we have the old manor, which you'll see probably in pictures of the library and such, where she's taken over the lab.
That's awesome, man. It's
So
always nice to have
cool.
a nice storyline, a nice foundation to work from. It's awesome.
Great.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks a lot, man. I feel belittled now. Thank you, but
I've seen your stuff. No way.
hey, we're gonna go on Sean and hopefully his stuff ain't that great.
No,
You can just skip
no.
that.
No, you're
Good luck.
you're out of luck. Sorry.
Out of luck entirely.
Damn it.
Sean, let's talk about what we're about to see here.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, this is me. You can go ahead and skip this photo if you want. But yeah, so this is the biggest it's not a problem, but the biggest interesting piece about our haunt is like it's in a pretty small 2-car garage. And we try to fit like 5 or 6 scenes inside of it.
That's
And then
that's amazing
this
in itself.
there we go. So there's all the different scenes. So there's like the facade, the entrance and stuff like that. So this year we actually built a pneumatic elevator simulator ride, which I was like initially really worried that it was going to take up half of the garage. And it does take up a pretty good chunk of it. But one thing with the actual simulator was that it also gave you a little bit more time inside the haunt, because being that it's only 320 square feet total, you can usually go through it in like 30 seconds if you're just walking through it.
Right.
So the elevator, we built an entire animation and stuff like that the elevator sequence in and of itself is a minute long. So we ultimately doubled the amount of time it would take to go through from previous years. And that's also
here's my biggest question right here is if the whole haunt is in your garage and you build it in the garage, where do you do all the work at?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's my biggest issue is like I do all my shit in my garage. So if my haunt is in the garage, where do you build? Where do you take everything out?
So this picture actually shows a good. So in front of my garage, there's like 6 feet of concrete. That's where it's all built. But we also, build it in chunks from front to back, left to right. And so it's just, you work with the space you got. And I can't even tell you how many times I've sawed a piece of board inside that little mine entrance.
So you do all the work inside the garage with the haunt in there.
It's like 50-50. I would say most of the actual real construction work happens just outside of it. What sucks about that is...
What do you do with all your tools and stuff?
Yeah, every time you're done working, you got to lug it all back and put it in there. So...
so it's all
that's a lot
outside.
To go through.
You lug everything outside.
Yep, take it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what's good about having it in the garage too. Is like the coffin popper pneumatic stuff over here on the left. That just goes inside that little doorway, and then I close my garage every night, so I don't have to worry about anyone messing with it, or when it snows, I don't have to worry about it either.
Really awesome.
I'm sure everybody is going to ask you and want to know how you made the brick walls. What materials did you use to do that? And do you tear it all down or you save it?
Yes, and by brick walls, I think you mean rock walls.
Yeah, the rock walls.
Okay.
Yeah, he means the cave walls. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a big decision. So actually, when we were looking back at Diane and Preston's first picture that you showed when you were talking to them, they showed their Western kind of mine theme, and a lot of the inspiration I got for this was actually from their haunt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, there you go.
Even so much that I remember before it was just a glimmer of an idea to do a mine shaft. I think I actually reached out to Diane on Instagram and asked how they did their walls, because I was kind of like wavering on how I was going to do it. They told me about their process with like craft paper and then like the spray hopper, and they told me their whole method on doing it. And then I think another person I hit up was doing it out of foam and then carving it and all that sort of stuff. And so that I kind of like wound up with like 3 different options. The first option was how Diane and Preston did it. And then the second one was foam. And then the third one was actually finding somebody who makes rock walls professionally. So with those 3 options, I kind of like looked back at different videos of people going through our haunt, and very specifically, actually this is a great photo because right to the right of that is a actor jump out kind of Halloween Horror Nights effect where they press a button trigger and jump out, and every time that actor comes out, the person who's getting scared leaps against the wall to the left, and
geez.
right there's a big 14-foot long cave wall. So I really needed to make sure that nobody was going to break through paper walls and hurt themselves. And then I also really needed it, structurally safe and all that sort of stuff. So
Mike would like to know what you used for the texture, because that's what's so confusing.
Yeah, no, and this is actually a company that makes thin little panels about 1/8 inch thin that's super realistic and super rock hard. So I did not make these. They were purchased, and you buy them in 7
Oh,
by 14
These are panels. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what's great about them is you can roll them up and save them, and so they're the
What?
same
Oh, wow.
exact every year.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay. There are some better pictures of those laying out further down, but I don't want to miss the ones that we have.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
these kind of detail shots too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those, everybody asks about those, and I'll shoot a link over in the chat at some point during this to where we got those. But we definitely on, we are really, really into safety is like the number one thing for us. We have a lot of really young kids that come through here, and like I said, every single one of them jumps against that wall. So we really, they are pretty pricey, but we wanted to make sure that nobody was breaking through walls and hurting themselves. So
Sean,
we
really
decided to
quick.
invest in those.
Sorry, really quick. What material are those rocks made out of that you can roll them up?
It's like a really, really rigid polyurethane with they spray real rock texture like granules over the top. So when you run your hand over it, it feels like real rock,
Wow.
But it's super flexible. You can drive over it with a car, and it bends and then comes back into shape.
A flexible urethane.
Yep, and it's
Incredible.
super rigid. Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep, that's awesome.
What about this picture?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is actually in my basement of my house. We're really big on finding really, really fine details. So all these crates and stuff like that are actually real dynamite crates that were from mine shafts. So we sourced these from different vintage shops and stuff like that. The miner helmets are just Amazon plastic cheap helmets that I converted from battery operated to they plug in now, and some of those are actually controlled by different sensors. So if a miner prop has one of these miner helmets on and you walk by him, his light will turn on and shine you in the face. So yeah, those are all just Amazon, but most of the lanterns too are actually authentic old lanterns from really, really long ago, and then I just converted them to have flame bulbs and stuff like that.
Right,
Awesome.
You guys are definitely on a whole nother level.
Yeah, the detail work is just insane. So good.
I'm over here paper macheing and got my wiper motors. You guys are like.
I'm a big fan of set design and details like that.
That's beautiful.
I honestly I feel like we started the haunt more or less as like a creative outlet. So I prefer to look at it in the daytime than with show lights.
Right.
So to me, I would like to go through it, and we also do daytime tours for the really young kids. We don't do any gore or anything like that in our haunt. It's more for ages 6 to 60. So a lot of those kids are too scared to come at night, so we let them go through with all the lights on, and I actually prefer it with all the lights on myself. So
Alan did post a link to Universal Rocks, which I believe is the company.
Yep. Thank you, Alan.
Appreciate
you.
All right, we're gonna move back over to Diane and Preston. Show us more pictures of them.
We'll see you again in a little bit here, Sean.
That's a picture of the ocean that we did, and it's just some rocks and stuff that we had, and we had bunches of fish that we made. And
was this the same year as the flood? Was this kind of
No, this was afterwards. That was right before COVID. Actually, this one was.
Okay.
And this is when we did the ship, and you were under the sea, and so that's the part that's under the sea.
Yeah, that's the 2019.
Yeah.
So cool.
On 2020.
Yeah, this is COVID. So at first we decided we were going to not do anything because we didn't want to bring people together. And one, you couldn't do anything. And so then we thought, okay, we've always said that when we get too old that we can't build the haunt, we'll just do a simple yard display. And
that's a simple yard display?
Yeah.
In there. I totally understand.
And so we had to deal afterwards, and we decided that actually yard display is really harder to do because you know you can't do a simple graveyard or anything like that. So we kept throwing out ideas and all this, and so then we thought, so then like somebody mentioned a haunted mansion or whatever, and so okay, well let's do it, try to make it look like Disney Paris, so that one and stuff, and so so we had doors that opened up into this. So at night you can just close the doors up. It looks just like a house.
Oh, jeez.
And so, and when you're ready to do the haunt,
display.
Yeah, simple yard display. And,
Super simple.
Well, and the funny part about it is the people, we have a lot of people that call the police on us, and, we have to get fire permits and the whole routine. And, but, so they kept calling the city on us saying that we were doing a walk-through haunt. And the city we're on speed dial for the city. And so they called and say, guys, and said, no, we're not doing a walk-through haunt. We're doing a yard display. People are going to have, things and all this. And they wouldn't believe us. They finally had to come out, and we had to show them exactly what we were doing. And then they called the health department on us because they still didn't believe us. And people weren't wearing masks when they were building. And, so
I am so sorry that you have those neighbors.
Oh, well, that's okay. We're used to it. It's been around for like 20 years. We're used to it. And so this is Madame Leota's room. And we joked that my husband, we didn't want him to get COVID. And so we put him in the bubble. So that is my husband. That's Preston in the bubble. He was Madame Leota. If anybody that knows us that or seen any of our pictures of a haunt, Preston has been a woman quite a few times in our haunt. And
my Facebook picture is the first time when I was the Queen of Hearts when we did Malice in Wonderland.
That's all right. That's all
I love
right,
that. That's
man.
right. When
No judgment.
Diane was telling me, he looks, I promise he's not as crazy as he looks. He's trying to get into the Hangout group. It's a character.
Yeah. So this was it. And then this was the organ where they're playing the organ, and my daughter carved that plant thing, and the head moved. And so what we did is we did kind of each group, each window lit up, so it was like a sequence. And then at the very end, we found was it the remixed dance music, and so we played that, and we had dance lights, and so everybody danced, and it was a good relief for everybody. And we got thanked so many times because everybody was so down that year. We had people crying out in front because it was the first joy that they had felt all year.
Nice.
And so the
That's
kids
wonderful.
It was
loved
awesome.
That's awesome.
The kids, so everybody was dancing and stuff. So it was great.
Diane,
Yes.
our favorite part of that was when the music cranked up. Just watching Preston's head bobbing around in the ball all night. We were dying. It was so fun.
And this picture is we had the 4 busts. The 2 lower ones were actually real people, and they were not allowed to move. I told them if they had to pee, they had to do it in a bottle and not look how they they were not allowed to move. So the only time they could move is when the dance music came on, and then they got to bebop and move around a little bit. But I got to give them a lot of credit. I couldn't sit that still.
Dude,
that was the
that's
highlight of the night,
awesome.
was trying to figure out if there were really people in this. Like, was Preston really real? And we had the bride at the top. And was it really real? And that was my daughter up there. And so they're trying to figure out, they'd stand there forever trying to figure out if somebody was really real.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Diane and Preston,
Awesome.
Ted would like to know, when do you actually say, okay, that's it. It's finished for right now?
It's never.
No.
I know, right?
We're still building and putting in props the second week that we're open. We're usually open the week before Halloween, weekend before Halloween, and then the weekend closest to Halloween. But no, we're building up until at least the last weekend, and by that time, then we say, okay, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I know how that is. Like, it's never done. The haunt's never done. Always can be more detailed.
Yep.
Always.
This was the front of this year's haunt. It was London, old London fog. So we had the theme. We had it was so you go into Jack the Ripper, and you walk through. And we tried to make the set. We're like like Sean. We're more, that's Jack the Ripper set. And if you notice, we brought cobblestones in for our grass area, so you actually walked on cobblestones. And we made brick buildings, so that way we're big into, like Sean and all that. We're more about the design and the setting and trying to make you feel like you're really immersed into it. And we do very little blood. This is probably the most blood that we've used in years. And in fact, it was really funny because we were looking and I'm going, do I have any blood? I don't know. It's been so long since we used blood. And, you know, blood really lasts for a really long time. It doesn't go bad. I had some that probably did for 15 years, and it was still good, you know. And but we try to make you look like, so we did brick buildings, tons of brick buildings, so it looked like you were going through all of old London. And then, of course, you went through, you had in London, of course, was Sweeney Todd, so we had Mrs. Lovett. And so we had her in there baking and stuff. And
can you talk to me a little bit about these facades and these rooms you're building behind them? How these are constructed? I mean, the detail on this is incredible. It looks like actual crown molding up there on this.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Talk to us.
Yeah, we've been fortunate in getting some leftover stuff from some of the studios. And it's a mishmash of different lengths and styles and things, but you kind of work it together and pick a piece that fits or make it fit. But it's basically all 1x3 and Luan flats. This particular flat is 10 foot long and 8 foot high. And we shouldn't have made it all in one piece. It's as heavy as sin, but it did come together pretty good.
And the bricks, we found out, it was trying to do so many bricks this year, and I know there's a lot of ways we can, do it with a joint compound and all that. So now I was going, oh my God, I can't, and the walls get so heavy and all that. So we found the foam bricks that were on Amazon. And so the peel and stick ones, and those are peel and stick foam on bricks. And we use them all over the place. I would not recommend them for outside and where you get weather.
Expand and contract in the sun.
The heat, it lets us. It doesn't. Let me tell you, you can't peel them off, but but all of a sudden you'll look and there's a big bubble, and you're going, okay. So then I just come through with a staple gun and staple it back in place, and it's fine, and repaint it.
Yep.
And, but no, we're very fortunate. We get leftover stuff they're throwing in the trash right before they throw it into the trash bin. We have somebody that occasionally, not very often anymore, because he doesn't work for the studios anymore, but he would get some of the stuff, and we would strip the walls and take the moldings off. And this is the inside Lovett's. And stuff. And we were fortunate these wallpaper walls were actually from a pro haunt that we swap stuff.
Yeah, we do a lot of mix and match out here.
We borrow from a lot of people.
There's nothing wrong with a little trade work.
We do a lot of trade in Southern California here. We also did the plague, because part of London was the plague. And so we built walls to make it look like you're going into the plague. And
now, who is that? Who is that there?
That was the daughter of one of our Cow Haunts members that came out and worked the haunt for us.
She wanted to play.
And she was really good. Little kids, being scary is scary.
Dude, little kids are the scariest.
Oh yeah, they are.
This is part of the plague when it's more lit up, so you can see it a little better. And you tried to make holes and tried to make it look like there was holes in the walls that the rats were eating through it, because that's how the plague happened. I read up a lot about the plague. Didn't know a lot of things, and this is as you're going into the plague. You find out all this history, just like I found out history about Jack the Ripper and all that, trying to make it authentic as much as we can.
It probably didn't help that we're still in the midst of COVID and going.
Well, we thought the quarantine part was pretty funny.
Now, and where? Okay, because all this looks interior to me. Where is all of this actually located on your property?
It's in the front yard. We've got about 25 by 35 feet of front yard that we use, roughly 1,000 square feet. And we basically have tents that cover that entire area. So one year, before we did the tent, it rained so hard that we're using swap meat tubing, the flat tubing with the canvas over the top. It actually bent the tubing. It rained so hard and filled
Oh,
up with so much water. And electricity was shorting out, and the people in line wanting to go through the haunt.
Regardless whether
no,
it's raining. Yeah.
it's collapsed. That's okay. That's fine. We still want to go.
Yeah.
No, now we have tents, so that way we're protected from the rain and everything.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
so awesome, guys, man.
Yeah.
And the
Amazing.
good thing is we can close it all up. We put doors on it that we can, and everything, so we can lock it all up. We actually build inside the haunt, and so as we're building it inside the haunt, and so at night we can just close the doors, lock it up, and go inside.
That's
awesome.
fantastic. Super,
That's
super
awesome,
clever.
dude. Man,
Yep.
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm stepping it up this year. Trust me. I have to tell my wife the budget is a little higher than it used to be.
Convince her that it is okay to be inside the house too.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it.
We used to do it in the haunt. We used to do it in the house. We did it for a lot of years inside the house.
Hey, that'll be the
Incredible.
next question I ask her. I'll be real sweet, like, baby.
Oh, baby.
Baby. That's it right there.
Good.
All right, Steve. We're
Steve,
gonna-
Hey.
you're up.
Hey,
You are up.
let's do it.
What's happening?
Next one.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Can I literally just start off by saying all those haunts are ridiculous and awesome and on a massive scale, and I hope for what we lack in scale, we make up for a little bit in details.
Oh, your stuff is incredible, Steve. I mean, yeah.
Dude, I'm there with you, my man. I'm there with
All of you are incredible and amazing.
I've got to say that when you're there, the stuff really looks like it's there all year. It actually is coming out of the ground.
Right.
Yeah, his stuff is that incredible. It was one of those that made us feel inferior when we left the very first time we saw it.
Hey,
Oh my God.
we just don't tear it all down.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This
You guys are all blowing my mind. Seriously, just incredible stuff. Crazy.
We absolutely appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So
Ooh,
what
the
we're
well.
looking at here
I love
is
the well. I love the well.
I love
Oh.
the lighting. The
Thank you.
lighting is just, oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the lighting worked well. We actually got some new lights this year that were really awesome. They were landscape lighting that you could program each light individually with 16 different colors and 4 different levels of brightness. So it really gave you a lot of control over
Wow.
how you wanted to light each area with color and brightness, and it was awesome. And then all you do is buy like a 200-foot roll of the cable, and you run it all over where you want, and you just literally stick the lights on anywhere you want on that cable, and it was just an awesome system.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that made a massive difference.
You should make a YouTube how-to on that.
Yes.
For sure.
In the video I just posted, I talk a little bit about the lighting and how we did it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. You could really do a whole
I'm not
video.
talking about little. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
just on
just
lighting.
the lighting.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
trust me, you
that's
make a lot of home hunters happy. Trust me.
that's an art in itself for sure to nail that lighting, because it can really make the difference between, you know, something looking good and something looking bad. Even if you have an awesome, well-made prop, if you don't light it right, it can be worthless, you know?
Mhm.
We went a little bit brighter with things this year. Since we created our creep-in experience and we wanted to really immerse you in Grimwood Hollow and bring you in there, not only was everybody closer to all the props, but we were able to show them off better too with the lighting, which made me happy because I spend all year making this stuff by hand, and then we would throw it out on our yard, and sometimes it'd be, 30 feet away from people and kind of in the dark, and I'd be like, come on, man.
Right,
I put all that detail in there, and now you're not going to see it. So this year, I got to really, showcase some of this stuff a little bit better, and Nicole put some awesome lighting on it, and I think it really was kind of a better showcase of everything. In fact, when we first started talking about doing this event this year, it was literally going to be more like a little haunted museum in a way, where people just kind of walked in and looked at the props, and it was going to be more of a really small private event where we were just going to invite, I don't know, friends, haunter friends who nerd out on this stuff and want to see this stuff. And then it just evolved into this entire, creep-in experience and story and everything, and became what it is, what you're seeing now. And I'm glad it did. It was an insane amount of work, but it was a way better attraction to do it this way.
Just the corpsing on that skeleton looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. That was so I've done the latex and paper towels, latex and toilet paper stuff since I started in the effects industry in 87 when I learned that technique, and I've always used that. And then later on, people started, like home haunters, who are some of the most innovative people on this planet, I swear. I learned all these crazy techniques in the movie industry, in the theme park industry, and they apply really well to that industry. But sometimes for the home haunt, you got to really think outside of the box and come up with, different materials and different ways to utilize things and really be innovative in how you're going to create stuff, because it has to last out in a yard or during a haunt and stuff. And it blows my mind what people come up with. But that corpsing technique was the first time I ever tried using the plastic tarps and melting it with a heat gun, because I had never done that kind of corpsing before. I always did latex and paper towel. So it was really fun to try that technique and see how it worked. And it seemed like it worked really cool.
Yeah, awesome.
I love this little guy. I love this.
Yeah. Yes.
He's great.
So, thank you. That's the collector. He's new this year. Some of you probably already know the story, but basically the short story of it is we have this creepy swamp witch, and she conjures up all these mischievous pumpkin imps that create mayhem all over Grimwood Hollow. They do her evil bidding and just do mischievous things all over. So this year, the collector, she summoned the collector, we call him an arachnome. He's half spider, half goblin gnome creature. And she summoned him to go around and take his rusty little shears, and he cuts all the baby seedling imps off of the vines behind him. And then he collects them in his basket, and he drops the little seedling baby imps into her bubbling brew, and she stirs the brew and conjures them into those little mischievous pumpkin imps that you see all over our yard doing stuff.
Oh my god, dude.
These are
Love it. They're there.
A couple of them right here.
They look even cooler in person. They are.
Can we see? Yeah, let's see that again. Can you
They're
bring
bigger
them
than
up
I
on
thought.
screen real quick?
Can you see them?
Yeah.
So awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's awesome.
Those little guys. This is another one of them. They were. I sculpted 3 different heads with all different expressions, made molds on them, cast them out of urethane and polyfoam, and then put real pumpkin stems on their head and painted them different, just so that they would, all look a little bit different and stuff. And then they have their little vine bodies and everything.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Absolutely amazing.
And the collector was me. I used to do creature and makeup effects and props for movies for years. And that was really my number one passion. I did that from 87 to 2007. I worked on all these movies, and I loved doing creature and makeup effects. So as you can imagine, working at Disney for the past 25 years, I don't often get to make monsters at my job anymore.
Right.
So this is my outlet. This is where I get my fix. And I'm like, this year I'm creating an entire character creature that we call the Collector. And it's kind of an homage to Brian Froud's designs and his work in the Dark Crystal, the original Dark Crystal. So this is that's what inspired me to create the Collector. It's very goblin-like, the mummy wrapping on the wrist,
I'm a
the
huge
leather hood and all
Froud fan. Hence,
And
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and
I'm
Brian
gonna-
Froud was always a huge inspiration for me.
I'm going to
So, yeah,
move
so
up one more picture because it gives a little more detail on the Collector there.
There you go. So these were all hand sculpted out of clay. Plaster molds were made. It's all latex and foam or urethane for the teeth and the mandibles. And then everything's painted and airbrushed. and I created a whole body form. It's got a couple motors in there to animate his mandibles move back and forth, and then his arm moves up and down so he can drop the pumpkin imp into the bubbling brew. But yeah, this is just me nerding out, wanting to make a monster.
That is a monster. That's gorgeous.
That's
So awesome.
Oh, thank you.
There's so many questions out there, and I'd like to thank Nicole, even though she's not feeling well. She's absolutely out there helping answer some of these for us.
Oh,
So
cool.
appreciate you, Nicole, and thank you, Diane, for also jumping in there too. So yeah, he's just amazing. And again, on the YouTube channel, guys, that he goes through a lot of the process of how he's built most of these. There's the pumpkin imps.
Yeah. So these guys, again, I kind of described how I made their heads. Their bodies were just a piece of aluminum armature wire that I did that same technique where I just melted some plastic bag over the form, kind of twisted it to look like a root. And then it's just got some green creepy cloth hanging off it to make it look a little more organic and root-like. And then the rib cage was just off some cheesy dollar store plastic skeletons. Just cut the rib cage off and glued it on, and those were our baby pumpkin imps.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Oh my God.
How did you attach the stems to the heads? Was it just glued on?
Yeah, they're glued on, and then a little bit of Bondo work to blend it into the top of the pumpkins, and then you just paint it to match.
Did you just go to Home Depot and snap a whole bunch of stems off? Or?
No, you know what's funny?
That's not a bad thought, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
There's you can literally go on eBay and find entire lots of these pumpkin stems that people sell, dried pumpkin stems. And I kind of stumbled on it on accident one year, and they had all these dried pumpkin stems, and I'm like, heck yeah, we're getting those.
Perfect.
And so it just really helps to kind of bring them to life and make them look a little more organic, and gives them all their own personality too, because they all have different stems.
Okay, we have one more picture for you here, and it has to do with the other. You talked about the haunt earlier. This one.
Oh yeah. So the Haunted Vineyard was my professional haunt that I did in the early 2000s. It ran for 4 years. I spent 20 years dreaming about this, trying to put the pieces in place, and in 2002 finally made it happen. We just did it on our own. I had a business partner back then that I worked with for about 20 years in the effects industry. We had our own effects shop together, and this was our baby. We created the Haunted Vineyard. Everything in the Haunted Vineyard was made from scratch. That's one of the things I really try to do with all of my haunted attractions, whether it's a yard display or a walkthrough pro haunt, is I just wanted to give people something unique, something they can't see anywhere else. There's going to be no spirit Halloween props or anything like that. And again, we love all that. There's nothing wrong with it. We just wanted people to always be able to have a unique experience when they came to our attractions. So I really wanted to utilize those skills that I learned in the effects industry and apply them to our haunt. And so we had a 100-year-old, we went to this 100-year-old abandoned winery and vineyard that's in Ontario, right next to the airport. And we were able to secure an old building there that they weren't using, and we rented that out, and we created about a 30,000 square foot indoor and outdoor walkthrough haunt that included a cornfield, a pig barn, 2 cemeteries, and all kinds of interior rooms and designs and stuff, catacombs, an armory, an entire tunnel of 40 zombie mummies. And I mean, it was insane. There were so many different themed environments in there. And these were some of the masks that I created for the Haunted Vineyard. And unfortunately, in our 4th year, the property was bought out by a land developing company, and they kicked us out of there. And then they never developed the property at all because the economy crashed. So we lost our haunt for no reason. Nothing ever happened.
But you know what? It gave birth to Grimwood Hollow, and
it did.
We are very,
It's
very
awesome.
grateful that exists
Awesome.
now. Steve, thank you. Yeah, awesome. So,
Thank you.
Sean.
Well, I think we're going to Ken, right?
Yeah, we're going to Ken.
Oh, yep, Ken. Going to Ken. Going to Ken. Sorry.
Yeah. Next
Going
one.
to Ken.
Damn,
'Cause
just
that's
skip
the one I
him
have.
over.
Hey, we're considering all the technical difficulties earlier. I'd say we're doing pretty all right.
You're right.
You guys are
doing
such
good.
amazing guests. Thank you. All right, Ken, what do we got here?
What we have here is the walk in towards the house. That's actually my yard on the right. We, as you can see, we build panels all the way around so that you can't see the houses beside us. So that's what
That's incredible. That's very difficult to do. I've found myself in the past also trying to block out the sides so that those houses aren't as visible, and it's very difficult to do. Do you have any tips for that?
No.
Oh, hey, one of them, one of them secret guys.
No, just build big. Yeah, that's the only tip I have is it's taken me a while. It's a cost factor, to build bigger and higher. So that's what we did this year. Is we went actually basically a little higher. So we went 15 to 18 feet to block out the neighbors' houses. So when you come up to the front, you actually don't see the neighbors' houses beside you, and it immerses you into the story.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
How do you reinforce your larger outdoor structures against the wind? Mike would like to know.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine who is a carpenter, and I actually really talked to him, and he helped me build this. And so it's a lot more wood. This is my driveway, and this is the shack that it's kind of part of the story that goes towards the front of the house. And that building itself is you can bounce off of it. It's solid.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I might bounce off of it, but I would be afraid to knock the books down.
Dude, I so want to do that. So you got to go in depth in how you made that. I want to do that.
Great.
I actually grabbed some here. I'll show you. It's very simple. It's a bizarre story. I was actually thinking of how we can continue on with the theme story that we have, which is the library. And in one of my dreams, I thought of this kind of, I guess you would call it a Harry Potter kind of thing, and which is kind of like these books that were just kind of
meandering. I've seen it with cauldrons as well, I think. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe somebody else has come up with it, but what I did was grabbed a bunch of books from a free place on Marketplace, and cut out the pages to make it super light, as I'm showing you right here. Anybody wants to know, I will show them. And then I drilled a hole in the middle of it like that. I put foam inside, so this is just foam to make it light. And you can either use PVC or I have access to stainless steel surgical tubing, which is easy to bend. And that's what I did there. Is I built a solid base, and then did that with you can use PVC or stainless tubing and bend it, and then just kind of feed on the books. Very simple.
Did you ever have any issues with anyone knocking into it, being that it's lightweight and knocking it down? Is it,
Actually, no. People bounce off of it, but as you can see up here, we also created this year a ceiling inside our house, because that ceiling is a fake ceiling. That's made out of
the room within a room.
It is.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the same fireplace that we saw from the other shot.
So that's all made out of, that fireplace is all made out of styrofoam. I'm getting old, so I wanted it to be light. And the roof was made out of what they call like a gator board. It's kind of it's styrofoam. And
painted.
It's painted with
breaking up.
What I did is I drilled a little hole for the pipe to go, so that supports that book thing if people bounce into it. So people did get scared, because I did have a couple scare actors that come out from there, and people jump back and bounce off of it. but it's solid. So yeah.
Yeah. Anna would like to know, have you ever had an issue with anyone stealing anything from inside?
So far, no.
We have actors, though.
We have 12 actors that throughout our haunt, they do watch the people.
Right.
I live in a neighborhood that is crazy. So far, I haven't. I know there's areas out there that you would have to worry about that. I haven't. I worry about it, but it hasn't happened.
Wonderful. Good.
So these are just you're going through pictures of different details throughout. This is actually in the garage. You can see that we do go a little bit crazy on detail. That's an old medical dental chair.
So whose X-rays are those? Your X-rays? Do you follow?
Oh, that skull's in one piece, and I think I had concussions over the years, so mine wouldn't show up that night.
We do the same. We use our own X-rays in the doctor's office. So.
Actually, X-rays are harder to get right now than they used to be because nobody uses X-rays anymore.
Yeah, it's all digital. They always give them to you on a disc at best.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. Lily, as you know, she's a nurse, and we've had some connections, and so we got some old X-rays that we were able to put on an X-ray. What do you call that? What do you call those things?
It's a light box.
Light box.
But big shout out to Corinne, a friend of ours,
Yeah.
Corinne Singer.
Another-
Actually provided one of those X-rays, and I think one of them are hers.
Yes.
So
Sweet.
Hey Ken, did you already say where you store all this? This is like an insane amount of stuff.
Right. That's always like the big issue with haunters. Where do you store it?
I could probably. I do have friends where I'm allowed to store some stuff. Like there's another picture. I don't think I have it this year, but we used it 2 years ago. As Steve was talking about, it's a 14-foot skull that people can kind of walk through. That's stored at a barn. It's massive. It's 14 feet by 12 feet by like 6 feet deep. It's not in any of these pictures. It's a couple years ago. We do kind of change the front a bit. But I have to take everything apart board by board to store it, just because I can't store panels.
Oh my God.
It's tough. I've got a lot of. I guess I can give tips if anybody wants to know on how to build storage space. But it's still
hardest working haunter alive.
really
Yeah.
organized. You have a tote that's basically just vines. We have 14 totes of vines. All those vines you see are fake. Throughout our pictures
Dude, this is the last picture was.
Sorry.
That's a beautiful scene right there.
Well, yeah, thanks. It's again you can kind of see our house in the top part of it, but I think it's the neatest thing is immerse people so that they don't realize they are where they are. And it's taken us a few years, but we finally have done so, I think.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
This is actually a really neat little picture. This is at the very front of, I guess you'd call it the queue line. So the queue line is where we do this for charity. So people either drop off money or food. And we run this for 5 days. And that's it. And this year we collected $11,000.
Damn.
And,
Wow.
That's
great.
amazing. Well done.
thanks.
Awesome.
And that all goes to the food bank. We don't keep any of the proceeds. We do this for fun. And this here is where people basically wait.
I love that that old TV.
We separate everybody about them.
them.
So that's the thing. We try to entertain people, I guess, like you would say Disney does, right? In the line. And we have an actor where if you watched our video, he basically gives you a little bit of the backstory. That's triggered by Photo Eyes. And this is another thing which actually plays old movies on it, like Vincent Price shows. So people, while they're waiting for their turn, can actually sit there and watch the old TV play movies.
You got one more that I think really needs an explanation.
Ah! Yes. This is one of my favorite shots. That's why I added it. And this is kind of neat because this is the Port Moody Police, and they're not in our jurisdiction. And I was actually kind of curious why they came, because of course now in a neighborhood you're always worried about bylaws, and we abide by every bylaw out here. I'm a volunteer firefighter, and we kind of want to make sure that everybody's happy in the neighborhood. So I was all of a sudden these Port Moody police, I'm like, why are you here? And this ain't even your area. So anyways, they came to us and they talked to me, and they were like, we heard you had such a great haunted house. Do you mind if we went through? I'm like,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
You're like,
So
yeah.
I thought it was cool. And so they said they waited out front, and they took lots of pictures and stuff. And the gentleman on my right, he was videotaping the whole thing going through, and she screamed like you wouldn't believe. You can hear her outside screaming.
Best.
So I thought this would be a great thing for them for training exercises on crowd control. But no one got shot in this video.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I love it.
Awesome. That's the
Before
end of
we-
his.
Yeah, before we move on to Sean again, real quick for everybody, I'm going to run down the line. Dudley would like to know if any of you are going to Transworld this year for more ideas. Diane and Preston.
No, not this year.
Not this year. Steve. And
No,
Nicole.
would love to, but we're not going to.
Ken and Lilia.
Long story, but I'll make it quick. I actually lost my passport back in like 6-7 months ago, and I've been trying to. I'm really wanting to. I'm waiting for my passport to come through.
Okay, fingers are crossed for you, Ken. Fingers are crossed. Sean.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Excellent.
Sweet.
All right.
Make
Very
sure
sad
you
the
get a
other
hold of
other
us.
three.
Make sure you find us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Haunter Hangout crew, are you guys all going, or?
Yeah.
We're all going.
Yeah, we're all going. The whole crew's going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right on. Oh, okay, Sean. We got some photos for you still, friend.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you so much.
3 seconds. 3 seconds. Sorry. Boom. Boom.
No worries.
Yeah, so like you were talking about, this is where we build.
Outside.
This is my my close friend from elementary, middle school, high school, and yeah, what we're cutting here is actual like 100-year-old barnwood. Like I said before, I'm obsessed with authenticity. So all the dynamite boxes are dynamite boxes. All the wood through all the actual mine is super old and gross and smells like really old wood. So
Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop
That's the way it's supposed to
yeah, so that was our pile that we found at an airport that he worked at. So
great, man.
yeah,
be. There's the panels.
Yeah, I saw a comment in the comments, and someone asked how tall
The ceilings. Yeah.
the ceiling was. So if you're looking at my panels on the left, the black ones that I paint black, those are 8 feet. But because we only have like a 19-foot square pad to work with, we really wanted to use the vertical height. And so the tallest part of the garage right over there, which you see on the right, is about 13 to 14 feet tall. So that rock face goes all the way up.
That explains a lot now.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
It helps to create that illusion that you're in the depths. It's so cool.
He actually has a garage.
Garage.
Yeah.
What's that, a garage?
Oops.
I got a garage, but it ain't 13 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah, so the height of the actual garage does help with the immersion a lot. When you walk up into that 14-foot kind of panel that goes up, it goes mostly up above your head, so that you feel like you're actually in a cave, which I think is really, really nice.
And that's why you need the elevator.
Yes, and so
Absolutely.
this was all new this year. This was kind of our big piece that we did this year. So this I built just out of 2x4s, obviously, as you can see here. Rusted it with a whole bunch of different effects, and then all the stuff that you see here, as far as like speakers and lights and door slides and all that stuff, is just stuff that I bought on Amazon. Um, the screen, we did like a 4K screen, and then spent a good couple months animating a custom 3D animation for that thing. And then also had a close friend of mine who's a Foley artist in LA do all the audio in PlayStation Studios. Actually, he's like the lead Foley artist for PlayStation games.
So it's who you know.
It's who you know.
Yeah.
It's who you know.
The guys who did the 3D are really close friends of mine,
Always.
and they
I
are.
highly suggest y'all go check out the video of his haunt on his page, because
Yeah, it's
it's really
amazing.
cool to see the animation on that.
Yeah, and the animation I think is probably about like a minute long, but even inside, so I don't know if there's a picture of it, but the speakers are hidden behind vents, so that you don't really see speakers. Yeah, you can see kind of placed where those speakers plug through. Even inside of those vents, I put like LED strips. So when the animation goes, when there's lights going through the animation, the screen, the light follows through all the way through the vent. So it's kind of breaking that barrier of, yeah, right there. So there's LED strips lining the inside of these vents, so that when the animation goes up, and the light passes by the vent actually lights up like there's a real light behind it.
Like you're going
Which
down, up
definitely,
and down. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. And then there's even a minor animation that has a light on his helmet that illuminates the vents as well. But yeah, and all of that, the elevator was also built onto a Fright Props motion platform. So that's a 5-foot by 5-foot pneumatic.
Which is one of Haunters Hangout sponsors. So
Yes,
that's a plug
yes,
right
please.
there.
Thank you.
There you go.
I look forward
It's
to
a
seeing you in a few
5x5.
weeks.
What's it called again,
There it
Sean?
is.
5x5 what? Motion?
The what?
Platform.
The Fright Props platform.
Yeah, Fright Props just does custom motion platforms, and then you can choose the size. So I based the size on the space that I had in the garage, which ended up being a 5-foot square. And I like you can see here, this is months before I actually got the platform. So I built this to spec to equal exactly 5 feet by 5 feet.
Gotcha.
So yeah, shout out to Fright Props. They really did a great job on that, and programming it was not too difficult. If you're pretty familiar with peekaboos, it was pretty straightforward. The hardest part was the lighting and stuff like that.
I love peekaboos.
Well, yeah, because your light bulbs are dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This shows what the light bulb, the LEDs looked like when I bought them from Amazon, and then how I distressed them. And it's just wood glue mixed with like a paint stain, and then I throw sawdust that I have laying around there as well, and even dirt. Like I'll throw dirt in my paint and stuff like that. Just dab it on. Like
I do
5
that too.
coats
It's really,
Dude,
yep. Nothing
However,
more
don't-
convincing
Dude, that
and
looks
nothing more
awesome,
authentic than
man.
the thing. Yep.
That looks amazing.
Corinne would like to know if you use a rust product, or is that just paint?
Yeah, no, it's definitely real rust. It's from a company called Metal Masters, and they sell a rust paint and activator. And it definitely, like, I've been using it for a few years now, but it takes a little bit of practice to make it look like really like rugged, like really textured and stuff like that. Like I use a lot of sawdust inside the actual iron paint, and then you can also seal it with like one of their matte clear coats and stuff like that, so it doesn't rub off. And but yeah, that's what I use for that. And this, yeah, this is. Oh, go
Bill
ahead.
Rocco, who I'm questioning why he's questioning out there, would like to know whether you found some of your inspiration, or where you found the inspiration to build your theme and the elevator prop. If there was a specific inspiration for that.
Yeah, I mean they're on the call right now. Diane and Preston's Western home haunt. I don't know what year that was. Maybe like 5 years ago or something like that. But
Diane, Preston, what year was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
That
So,
was,
well, there's a few people. So Hollywood Haunter, they're a big YouTube personality. I've never met them in person, but they
Very nice
did
people.
Tina
a
and Chris are
graveyard
amazing.
gulch. Yeah, they did a graveyard gulch yard display, and to be completely blunt, like that's honestly what got me inspired to even be a home haunter in the first place, and do that type of set design. But and then also Preston, Diane and Preston as well.
I'm fairly
Yeah,
certain
so
Gina's
this-
watching tonight as well. So hi, Gina. Did you hear that?
John,
Yes, I've
you
been
know
watching
our,
your videos and creeping.
Oh, see now
Our
you
witch
can, now you can
in the
see how you
coffin?
fold it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the picture I was talking about.
Right, because I was like, how you fold that up? But now you can see, okay, it's thin.
Yeah, it's thin and super, super strong. And I think Alan posted a link to where you can buy those. And actually, I think he even like did a video a little while ago on visiting Universal Rocks and stuff like that. But yeah, so this shows you how tight it really is in there. Once you're actually going through it, it doesn't feel tight at all. Like we have a whole dynamite scene with a animated skeleton that blows off the entire room and stuff like that. And some of those scenes feel pretty big. Just the way we've angled the walls and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a pretty cool shot showing it just before it was finished.
I mean, that's really the key. I mean, you're working with a small space. You said 300 and some odd square feet, and so you're utilizing those angles and to create height, to create depth to it, and that really is brilliant. And a lot of us could really, really learn something from that for sure.
Totally. Yeah, this is just this was as I was building the dynamite scene, and I think you showed a picture of the talking skeleton.
Yes.
In there, but yeah, this was while I was building it, and I also use Gantom color piano lights throughout the haunt, and I can't say enough about Gantom as far as like lighting and how easy it is, and their product. I would definitely recommend that. That's what I use primarily for all my lighting. I used to also use like battery operated lights, but I just couldn't handle recharging batteries every night. I started to lose my mind.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve, I don't know how you do it with all those candles laying on the ground, but
It's a chore, man. It's crazy.
yeah. And so this was a year prior. This was 2 years ago. So this was the actual Victorian Manor. And so, yeah, it's like, what's crazy, it's the same well, not digital, but it's the same footprint, obviously, because it's in our garage. But, being that it's a house, it was a lot more like square, like with a cave, you can like make walls feel like they're angled and bigger in some areas. Whereas like this, it was great because you had to work with like 4x8 panels, and it was really easy to square out a little maze. But yeah, this was a really, really fun one. And what's crazy too is we haven't reused any of the other haunt. So every time we've built a new haunt, we've started from scratch. So all these panels are all just in storage and just sitting there right now. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, what I love actually from the previous photo too is that you matched up the siding from the actual house to the front of the house that you had at the garage, which was brilliant because then when it's show lighting, it's more convincing as one solid piece, which was really cool.
What I'm amazed with it that he said it all goes in storage, but the picture of the storage is like, dude, that's your storage.
You got a warehouse. That's a warehouse.
That's literally like a giant warehouse to do whatever you want to do.
Well, so this was like actually a pretty funny story because my next door neighbor actually has like a 10,000 square foot warehouse, and
that's cheating.
Cheating.
So he actually let me for about a whole year just put my panels and stuff in his building. Like I mainly just used it to like skateboard in during the winter, and then it just have our Halloween stuff in there too. But we don't have this anymore. He moved out of this warehouse with his business, and now I'm in like a extra space storage.
See, I was about to start going. Oh, wait a minute. We live close by. How many square feet does he have? Dang it.
Yeah. No, I wish I could share some storage with you, but I am fully loaded right now. Yeah, and this is all from previous years. But yeah, just and I'm a big fan of like vacuum form panels. Like some people hate on them, but I think I love that they're like not perfect, kind of like because I also like I really like to make it feel like. Depending on the theme, the cave is a little bit more detailed, but the actual Victorian manor from previous years, I liked it to feel a little more, a little less realistic. Like I feel like there was a nice, like easing into spookiness, with kids that were like 4 years old, where if you had like perfect slat panel, gross 8x4 panels, it's like really, really terrifying for kids. So some of these wall panels and vacuum form panels, I feel like is a really good balance for making it not too scary. So big fan of this.
Yeah, agreed. And the detailing that you've done in the rooms, even outside of the panels themselves, is fantastic.
Dude, that's just amazing. I mean, just to look at everything you got, all you guys' stuff is amazing. It's like, I mean, all your stuff is like pro quality. So that just goes to show that, even though you're a home haunter, if you had the money, you would be pro. For sure, definitely.
Yep.
I mean, all these haunts were like totally amazing. I'm like writing down, like resketching my shit because I'm like, I gotta go big. Dude, you do. I'm not gonna match your guys' shit, but in a couple of years I'm gonna try. But
I don't know. I've seen your stuff. I think it's
you guys' stuff is great, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. He doesn't give himself enough credit.
No,
but,
yes.
No, their stuff is crazy. I mean, and I appreciate all you guys coming on. But what we're gonna do now is get to the prizes.
We're gonna get to the prizes. So yes, thank you, thank you guys so much, and. Thanks again to our sponsors for the amazing prizes you guys supply for us with every show. We appreciate you. And please don't forget that a great deal of these sponsors are headed to Transworld this year. So please stop by and see them if you're going.
And buy.
Yep. I call your... Say again?
I said buy some stuff.
Buy some stuff. That's right. Support our sponsors,
please.
Us stuff
away all year round. So...
all year round, that's right.
Go to the booth, buy something.
So again, if I call your name and you want a prize, please contact Diablo no later than Saturday night to claim your prize. He doesn't need to be told what you've won. He will have that list. He needs your address and email information so that he can make sure that you receive your prize. He will get back to you no later than Monday on that. So without further ado, hold applause, please, till the end.
Wait.
The Toxic Effects, Baby Boo, Dudley Holcomb.
Can I whistle?
4 ornaments. Say, Woo-hoo. Horror Ornaments, Creepy Doll Head, Darren Talmadge.
Oh, damn.
Garrett Badges, 10 assorted badges to Donna Holloway. 916 Productions, $25 off to Beth Spiker. Halloween, Halloween Shirt Company, free shirt goes to Nicole Hicks. Froggy's Fog, gallon of bog fog to Ted Dennison. Fright Night Studios, Bloody Axe goes to Hessian Manor. Congratulations, Miles. Ned's LEDs 5-pack sample kit goes to Melanie Hancock.
Oh,
Drop Dead Design Studios. Is Melanie a sponsor? Oh my God, you just scared me to death. Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off. Linda Forbes Pearson. Did she just win some of her own stuff?
No.
That would be funny.
No. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Nightmare Makers, 2 unfinished skulls. Tina Crawford.
I got a
Haynes.
lot of their stuff. I made probably 60 skulls from them.
Right on.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I love them.
Sam Haynes, free download to Gary McManus. Atmos Effects, free download, Shane Helmstadler.
Shane.
Bright Proust, $25 off, Kevin Bicksacki.
Kevin.
Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms goes to Chris Stone. Monsters Alive, $25 off to Tracy Phillips Clark. Cobwebs and Candlesticks, grab bag surprise goes to Mike Kurzanowski. And congratulations to all our winners. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for participating.
Awesome.
Yeah, wait for the
We have-
kid one.
We
All right,
appreciate you all so much for
Right.
participating. Thank you again. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to our guests, Diane and Preston of Rotten Apple 907. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure
Steve
to be here.
That's awesome.
Cotroneo
That's
and
awesome. I want to
Nicole.
thank you guys for all coming out. You guys, shit was amazing, man.
New friend.
Definitely all the home hunters are going to be stepping up after watching this show because I'm definitely going to do it. And I want to thank Mike for coming in and filling in. You saved our life, my man. You saved our life. Thank you. Thank you. Hands off to you. And we're going to have another show. It's going to be right after Transworld. So we're taking a break next week, and we'll see you guys then.
Nice.
Thank you so much, all our guests. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you so much. Steve, Nicole, Diane, Preston, Ken and Lilia, Sean, and wife and children. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike Ross.
Quite welcome. Thank you. I